p.m. Also Saturday at 7:30 and 10 p.m. You're probably one of the most outspoken comedians, especially black comedians, about Bill Cosby. What is your relationship with him?
Well, I think he's look, you can be tremendously talented and be benevolent. Like when Lucifer, when he was in heaven, he was God's most beautiful angel. Mm-hmm. You can do evil shit, like you can fuck up in heaven, you can fuck up in Harlem. That's the way it goes. But I just think in 2009, remember when Kiss FM was here, right?
Yeah.
I was hosting the show, and people don't know that Bill Cosby sought actively to try to get Def Jam out there. He didn't want us. Like he didn't like the way you did
Def Comedy Jam.
He didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
It was only so you could. So we had a run in, and I knew he didn't like me, and I didn't like him. He called in 2009, called to do an interview. I was at Kiss FM in New York. Me, Jackie Reed, Steve Wilson. Bill called to do an interview. He had a gig in Connecticut. I knew he didn't like me, so I just let them do the interview. And about 10 minutes in, he was being such a dick. You know, all that kind of shit. So I say, hey, man, what, Mr. Cosby, what do you want us to know? Who is this? This DL Hughley. You say nigga, and you do this, and you say, and I said, well, with all due respect, Mr. Cosby, when I cuss her, I say nigga, no girl ends up with her underwear on backwards and drugs. Wow. And when I say nigga, when I cuss, it's on the...
Except for your daughter.
It's on stage, not a police report. And we go back and forth, It's a true story. And he says, this is not going to air. I said, the fucking ain't, right? Mm-hmm. And I thought it would. 10 minutes later, 5 to 10 minutes later, the people from Kiss FM and MS Communication came down, took that tape, said if it airs, you'll never work on radio again. Took it from everybody. Said this better never air. And it did not.
And it did not air.
I'm telling you, that's true shit. I swear that on my kids. So I know he's powerful enough to make that up.
So now you don't think so you're telling this story now.
KDL. I told it then. I told it on time. No, this is not. No, this is.
You told it.
Oh yeah, I swear to God. Yeah. See, people only hear what they want to hear.
Yeah.
Like I had known this for a long time and said it a long time ago. I remember I was on time.
Remember those words. People only hear what they want to hear.
During the show, he's the one that got me my radio show, and I was on his show, and I told him, don't talk about Mr. Cosby like that. They really have this idea, like you can be, like I said, you can be profane, you can be profound, he's a lot of is. He's a humorist.
Yeah.
He's a benevolent. He's a humorist. He's a humanitarian. And he's a rapist. That's the way that you can be all them.
Wow. To be all those.
Man, I lived next door to a dude, man.
Bill Cosby being a rapist. Just listen to this.
He took me to the free clinic. He told me about life. And he also was raping his daughter the whole time and went to jail. So to me, he's always going to be the dude who did. Everybody's do it. How come when people do stuff like this, they're always above reproach? Nobody ever believes them.
Exactly.
And then it's always a lot of victims. Mm-hmm. And it's always and the reason it hits home to me is because my youngest daughter said something happened to her, and because it was somebody I like, I didn't believe her. And I'll never get that back. I'm supposed to protect her, and I'll never get that back that she told her father something, and he didn't do nothing about it. Because it was inconvenient. So I could see how that could play. Right. And there's so many, everybody wandering around why women are mad and why people are like that. Look at the shit they go through. Yeah. Like when she said on Color Purple, a girl child ain't safe in the family for the men. That's fucking true. And it's
yeah, your girl child ain't safe in a family full of men. DL. You see, that's the problem. You so worried about Bill Cosby, you ain't worried about your own home. Listen to yourself.
It's just that he is categorically everybody you ever see is like priests who are above reproach, or coaches who are above reproach.
Right, teacher.
Nobody, teacher, they would never. Why are you somebody's boyfriend? Why jack with you? And he played on it, and to this date, he's never said he didn't do it. He got women defending it. He ain't never one time said I ain't do it. And you arguing on TV. Now I can. Whether this ain't hateration, I think he's one of the greatest comics that ever lived.
Yeah.
So what?
So, him being all so powerful, he get away with stuff like that. But what made the person that did whatever they did to your daughter, sexually assaulted your daughter, inappropriately touched your daughter, and you let that slide, and you over here talking about Bill Cosby, DL?
I tell you what, by any accounts, you could say, well, those women wanted to get in the show, but I didn't want to get drugged and fucked. That I wanted
to roll.
I wanted the speaking part. I didn't want to get the shit fucked out of me well knowing. The fuck is that the same? I wanted to win the Grammy, not a Slammy. What the fuck are you talking about?
Wow.
What the fuck are you?
They didn't even ask him about what he just said. He talking about Bill, this female right here, and she not even saying nothing. I'm appalled, DL. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Hey,
DL Hughley is here, ladies and gentlemen. Open up these phone calls, 888-742-3344.
Dirtbag DLB. I'm out of here. Too legit.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers. You ain't.
Since the news of Bill Cosby's release from prison last Wednesday, many have given their thoughts on the matter. Shortly after Cosby's release, DL Hughley explained on his radio show that this trial was never about Cosby's guilt or innocence, but instead it was something about society doing something about the wealthy men that were getting away with the abuse of power. So they decided to go after Easy Pickens, the black guy. DL argued that they...
Time out. Am I missing something? Now you feel this way? Wow, too legit.
continue to go after low-hanging fruit, pretend to be concerned about the victims, but let truly powerful people get away with everything else. Hughley then listed several people that the courts need to go after, people that they've had justice delayed, including Tamir's Rice murderer.
Now, Dio. Now you switching now? Keep that same energy, Dio.
This was never about protecting the victims. This was about succumbing to pressure. This was about the optics of pretending like you were doing something that you were not. This wasn't about, the trial was never about Bill Cosby's guilt or innocence, whether you believe he did it or not. The deal was in place. And they decided, because of public pressure, to go after somebody. And there was pressure all around because everybody was talking about how wealthy men were getting away with all these things and powerful men, which is true. And what they decided was to go after somebody that would be easy pickings. They went after the black dude. Now, his guilt or innocence was never what was at hand. It was pretending like society was doing something about it. And my problem then, as now, is that they go after low-hanging fruit. This was never about meting out justice. This was never about doing the right thing. This was never about the victims. This is about succumbing to pressure and going after low-hanging fruit. It was about the pretending. It was about confusing activity with accomplishment. And do you know how rare it is for the Supreme Court in any state to agree with a black man, to overturn them over the findings of a prosecutor? You know how hard that is? That clearly there was a deal in place. They blew it up and decided to go after him because he was easy pickings, but not after a president, not after a Supreme Court justice, not after any number of powerful people. But if you're going to go back in time and your concern is allegedly the victims, go after real victims. If you've proven that you can go back in time to make things right, then keep it going. I had a run-in, and I knew he didn't like me, and I didn't like him. They're always above reproach. Nobody ever believes them.
Exactly.
And then it's always a lot of victims. Mm-hmm. And it's always, and the reason it hits home to me is because my youngest daughter said something happened to her, and because it was somebody I like, I didn't believe her. And I'll never get that back. I'm supposed to protect her, and I'll never get that back that she told her father something, and he didn't do nothing about it.
Mm-hmm. You're telling this story now.
Okay, Dio.
I told it then. I told it on time. No, this is not. No, this is.
You told it.
Oh, yeah, I swear.
You ain't been doing the education.
Bro.
You ain't been doing the education.
Calm down.
You don't have the answer.